strong and lasting. The people who influence our lives.
Why are you the person you are today? One thing is certain. There are many people who influence you. These people teach you skills and values. They lead you to certain activities and turn you away from others. Sometimes it's obvious who these people are. People in your family may be the ones who influence you the most. Teachers and coaches may also influence you. Let's take a look at some of the people who influence you.
Family.
The people you spend the most time with are probably members of your family. Have you noticed that you sometimes act just like they act? Maybe you speak just like your mom or dad, or laugh like your uncle or aunt. You may not always want to be influenced by those around you, but often you can't avoid it. Family can also play a role in teaching you values and ideas. Most parents teach their children what they think is important in life. For some, this might mean being successful in a chosen career. For others, it might mean valuing art or music or learning about other cultures. What things are important to you? These may also be the things that are important to your family.
The influence of family.
One example of a parent influencing his children is shown through the Waugh family. Brothers Alec and Evelyn Waugh were both English authors who wrote some of the most famous novels of their day. They wrote Island in the Sun and Brideshead Revisited, which were both bestsellers. These were interesting books about growing up in English society. The two boys learned a love of writing from their father, Arthur Waugh, who was a writer. Their house was no doubt filled with books. They spent many hours silently reading and discussing what they read. Evelyn's son even continued the family tradition, becoming a novelist himself. There can be little doubt that Arthur Waugh placed great value on writing, for this love was passed on to his children and grandchildren.
Teachers.
Although our families often shape who we are, people outside our families can influence us greatly. Often, teachers have an important impact upon their students. However, the best teachers aren't just gold mines of knowledge. They also show us how to think in new ways. They help us to understand the perspective of someone who has a different opinion. Great teachers inspire us too. They make us want to learn more about the world around us.
The influence of teachers.
Helen Keller was a famous teacher. Keller was born in 1880 in the United States. When Keller was just a baby, she became deaf and blind. She was lucky to have a wonderful teacher of her own named Anne Sullivan. Sullivan taught Keller to communicate using her hands and fingers. At first, Sullivan had a great deal of trouble teaching Keller. But one day, Sullivan took Keller to a water pump. While the water washed over the young girl's hand, Sullivan spelled the letters Water on Keller's other hand. Keller suddenly understood. By the time the day was over, she had learned 30 new words. She turned out to be as bright as a light. By the age of 10, Keller could read Braille. She also learned to use a typewriter. Following her moment of understanding, Keller kept learning, went to college, and graduated in 1904. She wrote her own biography and became a teacher herself. She was very important in changing attitudes toward people with disabilities.
Coaches.
Coaches are people we search out because of their knowledge. If you want to become great at anything, it makes sense to find a good coach who knows what it takes to learn that skill. Even the most talented people in the world often have coaches. Almost all athletes and sports teams do. Some people even have business coaches. These are people who advise others on how to become the best leaders they can be. Wherever there is a skill to acquire or knowledge to be learned, there seem to be coaches who can help. Ask yourself what you would like to become good at in the future. Are there coaches who could help you?
The influence of coaches.
Glenn Mills is a successful coach. When Mills was a teenager, he decided to be a runner. He was disappointed with his own talent, though, so he decided to be a running coach instead. Mills became the coach of Jamaica's junior Olympic team and, through ambition and hard work, eventually changed aspects of the senior team's workout. Mills liked to make small changes to a runner's technique that resulted in large improvements, such as using strength training to improve power and speed. He also liked to make sure a runner's body was balanced. Mills's runners were dominant at the London Olympic Games in 2012. They won all of the sprint gold medals. Jamaica also broke the world record for the 4x100 relay final. Mills even coached the famous sprinter Usain Bolt, the fastest man in history. Bolt once said that it was through Mills's help that he overcame his doubts about becoming a successful runner.
Mentors and heroes.
There are people who aren't our official teachers or coaches, yet we listen to them anyway. We trust these mentors because we realize that they have more experience in an important area than we do. These are mentors, or people who guide us as we grow and learn. Mentors might be family members or teachers. They might also be our friends. Sometimes we don't really know the people who influence us. Many of us have heroes who inspire us. These are people we admire for what they have achieved or for the kinds of lives they have led. They are people who have values that we share. They might be musicians, actors, writers, business people, or scientists. They might still be alive, or they might have lived centuries ago. A hero might have a history and a background like ours, or he or she might be very different from us. Whatever the case, our heroes are generally people we want to be like.
Nelson Mandela, Virginia Woolf, Mahatma Gandhi, Albert Einstein, Marie Curie. The influence of heroes.
When a person decides to pursue a specific career, it may be due to the influence of a hero. A popular hero for scientists is Leonardo da Vinci. He was born in Italy in 1452 and lived until 1519. Da Vinci was very curious and did important work in many fields. These include breakthroughs in art, literature, engineering, and more. For example, he made some of the world's most beautiful drawings and paintings, like the Mona Lisa. Whenever he faced a problem, he searched tirelessly for solutions. For example, he studied all the muscles and bones in the human body to learn how they worked. Leonardo da Vinci also designed many incredible inventions. His inventions include a parachute, a robotic knight, a cart that drove itself, and gear to help people descend beneath the water and still breathe. He invented all of these nearly 500 years before they became reality. Today, scientists still look up to Da Vinci as a groundbreaking thinker and creative mind. Even though he died many centuries ago, his influence lives on.
Discuss.
What does the author mean when she says that Helen Keller was as bright as a light? Use context clues to support your answer.